Hi, my name is Yvette Rocha. In this video, I'm going to reflect on my experience creating a multicultural education toolkit. I'll talk about how diversity influenced my choices, how personal virtues played a role, what I learned, and how I'll use this moving forward in my teaching. When I was putting my toolkit together, I really had to think about how diverse classrooms actually are, not just in culture or race, but also in students' backgrounds, languages, experiences, and learning needs. This made me realize that not all classrooms are one size fits all. And if instruction doesn't reflect that diversity, some students can easily feel left out or disconnected. That really shaped the strategies I chose. I tried to make sure everything connected back to inclusion and representation. For example, in curriculum integration, I focused on using multicultural literature and different perspectives so students can see themselves in what they're learning, while also learning about people whose experiences are different from their own. This helped me understand how powerful it is when students can connect personally to content. I also focused on creating a classroom environment that feels welcoming and respectful. For example, strategies such as student voice and inclusive communication made me think about how important it is that students feel safe sharing their ideas, not just participating when they're called on. My goal was to build strategies that support a space where every student feels like they belong and that their voice actually matters. The personal virtues I focused on were compassion, service, perseverance, and curiosity, and they honestly guided a lot of my decisions throughout this process. Compassion helped me slow down and think about students as whole people and not just learners in a classroom. It made me realize that students bring different experiences into school every single day, and those experiences can shape how they learn and how they participate. Service reminded me that teaching is really about showing up for students and their families and creating a space where they feel supported and they feel included. It helped me start thinking more about how I can actively remove barriers for students instead of just delivering instruction. Perseverance came into play because building a culturally responsive classroom takes time and effort. It's not something that you just do once and you're done with. It requires ongoing reflection, adjustment, and a willingness to improve. This made me realize that being an effective teacher is a continuous process and it's not just a finished product. Curiosity pushed me to explore new ideas, different perspectives, and better ways to support diverse learners rather than limiting myself to traditional approaches. It helped me stay open-minded while building my toolkit. Overall, these virtues shaped the strategies I chose and how I prioritized relationships, student voice, and community connection in my toolkit. One of my biggest takeaways from this process is that multicultural education isn't something you include once in a while. It really needs to be built into everything you do as a teacher. I also realized that culturally responsive teaching is not just about having diverse materials, but about how students experience learning, how they're included, how their voices are valued, and how instruction connects to who they are. Another important insight for me was realizing how much impact small instructional choices can have. Something as simple as allowing students to share their experiences or incorporating diverse examples into lessons can completely change how engaged and connected students feel. Moving forward, I plan to use this toolkit in my future classroom. It has helped me think more intentionally about designing lessons, building relationships with students, and involving families and the community. I want to keep using these strategies to make sure my classroom reflects different perspectives and gives students real opportunities to share their voices and identities. I also want to continue growing in my personal virtues, compassion, service, perseverance, and curiosity, because I think that they will help me stay reflective and intentional as a teacher. Overall, this experience really helped me understand what it means to create a classroom where all students feel included, respected, and supported.